the Nike Pegasus Turbo Plus. Does the Nike curse continue with running shoes in this modern age of running, or have we found a breakthrough shoe? Let's talk about it. So before we get into the review, make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel if you're subscribed watching the content. Thanks so much, love you guys a lot. Make sure you follow me on Instagram and Strava for all sorts of other updates and things like that. So without further ado, let's begin. Specs for this shoe right here somewhere in the corner. And what I was mentioning in the intro with the Nike curse, I think a lot of us know this right now from just playing around with running product, is that Nike shoes quite haven't been the same since about mid-2021 to about 2022. Something about quality, just design overall, was just not clicking with the customer, right? I'm not talking about like specifically race product, even though that's another wormhole we can go down, a black hole for that matter. In this case, with the daily training product, just something wasn't clicking, and I think we've witnessed product like Adidas, Hoka One One, and especially Puma just kind of rise from the ashes here and really dominate in the daily trainer market. At least from personal experience. Maybe somebody else will tell me something otherwise, right? Or there's another brand that I haven't tried or you guys have brought up in the past, right? So this is where we kind of come to this point, right? Nike has released this shoe as the retro edition of the 2018-2019 Pegasus Turbo. That was a pretty unique piece at the time. And we asked the question, right, like, how does this hold up with some modern touches? So, first thing I guess we should showcase is what's going on the outsoles of the shoe. So, here we go. I had this thing on a run earlier today on some mostly gravel, new concrete-styled roads. And the main things I guess we should talk about, or the areas we should address, we'll start with our left foot, is again just the anterior side of our shoe. How's it looking? It's not bad. The rubber is holding up in a pretty okay spot. There's just exactly where I expected it to be right there. In the exposed foam, I don't know if this is a substantial piece of the shoe. In my opinion, I don't think so. It is starting to get kind of chewed up a little bit from the elements, which could be gravel, it could be the concrete itself, it could just be the friction that kind of runs across. Hard to say exactly. It is taking a bit of a crunch, you can say. In the heel, nothing too unusual at this time. It's in good shape. I don't typically heel strike, so I don't expect any sort of wear on that end. From the large stack of ZoomX, from what I'm looking at, we do have some creases running across the shoe. Again, nothing too significant, nothing too substantial at this time. I think the same story is probably going on in the right foot as well. Again, we just have like minor noshing of the shoe on this end, and we just have that exterior wear, where in this case it looks like the rubber is starting to burn out a little bit more, and we have a little bit more foam exposure on that end. So the right foot may look a little bit cleaner, but it might be taking more of a beat down on this side of the shoe. Cool, okay. So that's sort of the elements with the outsole. On the insole, when I was running, I had a bit of a concern with the interior area of the shoe. It looks like there was a little bit of like protrusion because of my big toe pushing out on this area of the shoe. It looks clean now, so I'll give it that much. There's a bit of a dirt patch here, but when I say clean, I'm saying there's no like tearing on the outsole, but it did look like there was some stretching in this particular area, which had me a little bit concerned. Again, we're just 50 miles deep in this shoe. I would hope that there's no major wear and tear at this time, right? Although I'll get to the end of this video why it doesn't really matter to me. The same deal is probably to be said here. I don't see too much wear. I just do see areas where like my toe would have had a little bit of protruding on the sides of the shoe. But again, nothing visibly torn at this time. So I did mention in my first impressions of this shoe that I had torn one of the eyelids for the shoelaces on this shoe right about here, as you can see. So what I did was I like looped it the other way around, and it had it go on the inside sort of like this. So it's like completely wrong. And yeah, I tore it and the shoelace just won't stick. And I had a little bit of loss of, I would say, lock from the shoe. And since then I've kind of been able to adapt and adjust with it. But it's just not right to run with the shoe when there's some damage after my second time tying it. Why it's taken me so long to return the shoes, two reasons, right? Number one, is I wanted to get it to about 50 plus miles because, again, if we're experimenting, we don't cut the experiment short. We try to take it all the way to its conclusion just to find out what's going on. So I got it here, nice. And then number two, I bought this like about a month before the Chicago Marathon, and I wasn't about to change daily trainers or recovery shoes like 2 weeks before the race, right? Like I wanted to taper down properly, and therefore I kept the shoe that I was running in, right? Like I had the Puma Deviate Nitro 3s, which were already above 250 miles. I didn't want to continue running in those. I just wanted to stick with this. I had the Alpha Fly 3s already just sorted out. Figured that was going to be running the marathon in them. So I just wanted to keep... I didn't want to change anything, right? So I kept the shoe until then. We're post-marathon, and I'm not interested in still running with this shoe at this time. Perhaps in the future, maybe I'll exchange for something, but as I look at it, just, we've got this damage on the shoe right here, which I'm not a total big fan of. And it's just, again, the ride is fine, the fit is fine. It's just the damage here is not something I like long-term in the quality of the shoe. And I do want to explore some other options, such as some shoes from OnCloud at this time, just while I'm in this off-season. I can play around with a little more product. And I want to get into, I think it's the A6 Nova Blast. I want to get a pair of those and see what the hype is about. So with that in mind, I can keep the Pegasus Turbo, I think, out of this lineup for now. Perhaps exchange it for another pair and just keep it for like my recovery workouts. But just at this time, I don't think it's going to stay in my lineup as it is. But as a Nike shoe, has it broken the curse? I would say it's still kind of, the jury's still up in the air with this one. And I think from what I've read in previous comments, I think we all kind of sort of agree. The quality really is a gamble with these shoes. Like, you just don't know what you're going to get when it comes out of the box, right? Like, are you getting product that's shipped from overseas? Are you getting this shoe shipped or made in Mexico? Like, where it's being manufactured matters. Where it's coming from is going to matter. Where it's being distributed from sort of matters. So all of these things kind of play into a role of whether you're going to get a high quality daily training product or you're going to get something that breaks within 2 to 3 shoelace ties. Okay. Good news there, of course. Nike customer service is great. They'll take the shoe back. They'll refund you. You can obviously get new product or exchange if you wanted to. So that they have that going for them, which is good because then I can exchange for a potentially different Nike shoe that I can hopefully stick with long term, right? So I think we're going to leave it at that. Again, if you agree or disagree with the assessment, let me know in the comments below. But again, 50 miles deep, just with the damage I have on this shoe, I'm going to personally return it, but it can continue for your daily training runs and so forth if you don't have any sort of damage on the upper of the shoe at this time. So I think we'll leave it at that. So thanks again for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.